And go. This is my Dominaria United top 10 best creatures and planeswalkers that I think is going to be highly seen and highly played in sets. So, starting it off at number 10, Liliana of the Veil. Now, I know I'm probably going to catch a lot of hell for this. Why is Liliana way down at the bottom of your list? Well, let's take a look at Liliana first, and I'll explain why. Liliana is 2 black. Liliana of the Veil is 2 black and 1 colorless for a 3 loyalty legendary planeswalker Liliana. With a +1 loyalty of each player discards a card. Target player sacrifices a creature for -2 loyalty. Targeted player sacrifices a creature and -6 loyalty. Separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of their choice. I mean, everybody likes Liliana. Liliana is very good, but she's kind of weak, to be honest, compared with other powerful planeswalkers, even other versions of herself. I mean, yeah, she has a little bit of protection in her -2 loyalty, where you can have a player sacrifice a creature. But if they're playing like white weenies, they just sacrifice a little token creature. It doesn't matter, and you're left with 1 loyalty left when she first comes out. That's kind of weak. And each player discarded, which means you have to discard a card too to bump up her loyalty. So her increasing loyalty is not always really a plus. And you have to do that at least 3 times before you can even use her ultimate. So that's why I put her down at the bottom. While she's highly sought after and highly wanted by black players, I just don't think she's strong enough to see a lot of play, at least in standard. Now, Commander is a whole different thing. You can get her out early, and Commander takes a lot longer to develop. But if you're playing Standard or Modern, this thing's going to go away really fast. Next up is Shivan Devastator at number 9. 1 black and an X colorless for a 0/0 Dragon Hydra with flying and haste. Shivan Devastator enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. While everybody considers this the living fireball, the problem here, even though a lot of red decks, even back in my day when we had the original fireball and we had the Urza lands, and we could fireball people for a ton. It's still, you've still got to have that mana available. And yeah, there are ways, even in this set, to ramp up your mana really, really quickly. But again, because it takes so long to develop and to get a decent amount of mana to go over and swing at somebody, I don't think it's going to see a lot of play in Standard or Modern. again, if you're playing a dragon deck in in a commander dragon deck, that's an absolute add for sure. Next up is a Johnny Sleeper Agent. And I think out of all the Planeswalkers we get in this set, a Johnny is probably the strongest. Because for 1 green, 1 white, and 1 either Phyrexian green or Phyrexian white, and 1 colorless, you gain a legendary Planeswalker and Johnny with 4 loyalty. It has completed. If you pay, you can pay the Phyrexian green or white with green or white mana or 2 life. Now, if you pay life in this manner, it enters the battlefield with 2 less loyalty. But his abilities are quite powerful. For a +1 loyalty, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature or planeswalker card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it on the bottom of your library. -3 loyalty, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among up to 3 target creatures. They gain vigilance until end of turn. And -6 loyalty, you get an emblem whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, target opponent gets 2 poison counters. A Johnny has a lot of uses. I mean, for one, his protection comes in his +1 loyalty. So you can look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature or planeswalker, you put it in your hand, or put it on the, or otherwise put it on the. You may put it on the bottom of your library. So you can get a creature, get it out to protect a Johnny right away. And again, this ties in with his next loyalty ability. His -3 loyalty ability, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among up to 3 target creatures. Now, a Johnny is in green and white. And right now, especially in this set, those are colors that you're going to see play for. And I've talked about this in my other videos. Creatures that, it's the weenie creature deck. It's going to be based in green and white. And this is going to be your main dude. And you can put +1/+1 counters on people. This is why I consider him, pretty good at number 8. And also that ties in because if you're going to be playing weenie decks, that ties in to his ultimate at -6 loyalty, which only takes at the minimum 2 kicks of a Johnny's his +1 loyalty to get him up to that 6. So he has to be on the battlefield for less time. And his -6 loyalty reads, you get an emblem. Whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, target opponent gets 2 poison counters. And for you that don't really understand poison counters are counters that are put onto a player. If you get 10 of them, you lose the game. So this one, and because we lost, I can't think of his name from Kaldheim. My memory will kick in eventually. I see him in my head. I just can't think of his name right now. But when he or another creature with death touch attacks, target the player gains. He deals combat damage to a player. They gain poison counters, so like poison, 10 poison. 2 poison counters, 2 poison counters, 2 poison counters. Now, if you're, like I said, if you get this emblem out and you're playing weenie decks, you're just slapping down, you're slapping down creatures left and right. The poison counters are just gonna come out. It's like easy way to kill your opponent. So that's why I put him there at number 8. Next up is Tori D'Avenant Fury Rider. Before I move on to Tori, I wanted to also mention that Ajani also pairs with another card that when I originally put this in, I was going to put it in right above Ajani, but I think this is going to go into the separate video. That I don't know if I'm going to cover just enchantments in one video or sorceries and instants and enchantments. It really depends on what I see, goes on. I don't have the list made up for those yet. So the world spell pairs well with the Ajani as well, because you can look at the top 7 cards of your library in both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 and reveal a non-saga permanent card from among them, put them in, and put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then in Chapter 3, put up to 2 non-saga permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So you can do this. Search for cards real quick. Yeah, it's 7 mana to get out, but it's green. It's in green. If you're not mana ramping in green, you're playing wrong. And it has the read ahead mechanic, so you can, if you have those creatures in your hand, you can skip right ahead to Chapter 3, lay those creatures out, and look. You have 2 more poison counters, 4 more poison counters from a Johnny. Yahoo! So moving on to, I've got to figure out where she is now. She's probably on page 2 here, so give me a moment here. I have gone over, but I've got to get to where she's. Tori D'Avenant Fury Rider. 2 red, 1 white, and 1 colorless for a 3/3 human knight with 2 red, 1 white for a 3/3 legendary human knight with vigilance and trample. Whenever Tori D'Avenant Fury Rider attacks, all other attacking creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. So, Tori D'Avenant gives it power, but she also says other red attacking creatures you control gain trample until end of turn and untap other white attacking creatures. So your red creatures get all your attacking creatures get +1/+1. Your red creatures gain trample. Your white creatures that are attacking gain something akin to vigilance. So that's a very cool ability. And I guess because I've rambled on so long, I will have to make this into 2 parts, and I will get on to number 6, which is going to be Aster, Bearer of Blades. Okay, where did you go? There you are. 1 red, 1 white, 2 colorless for a 4/4 legendary human warrior. When Aster, Bearer of Blades enters the battlefield, you may reveal an equipment or vehicle card from among them. Okay, let me read that again so I make sure I read it right. When Aster, Bearer of Blades enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an equipment or vehicle card from among them and put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Equipment you control have Equip 1. Vehicles you control have Crew 1. This guy is your armorer. He in himself, at 4 mana for a 4/4, is very decent. But to look at your library and put either a vehicle or an equipment in your hand, there are a lot of other cards that really pair well with him. I think that he's going to be a well-played character. So I'm at almost 18 minutes. We're going to cut this video. We'll see you next on the top 5 creatures that I see in Dominaria United.